हेलो दोस्तों, कैसे हो? आपका स्वागत है त्रिपान स्टडी सेंटर में। आज जो हम करने जा रहे हैं, काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण क्वेश्चन पेपर आया है फिजिकल एजुकेशन। यानी देखा जाए तो सारी शिक्षा का जो हमारे समक्ष यहाँ पर क्वेश्चन पेपर आया है, ये काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से रखता है। और ये एग्ज़ाम में आने के चांसेस रहेंगे, तो इसको अच्छे से आपको क्वेश्चन आंसर को करना है। और ये सारे क्वेश्चन जो होंगे काफ़ी महत्व रखेंगे। हर एक क्वेश्चन को समझना है और एग्ज़ाम की तैयारी करना है। इसमें जो है हम क्वेश्चनों को एनालाइज करेंगे, समझेंगे और विचार करेंगे। और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात रहेगी कि ये आपको हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों बच्चों के लिए रहेगा, चाहे वो हिंदी माध्यम के हो चाहे इंग्लिश माध्यम के हो, दोनों के लिए महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा। देखा जाए तो ये शब्दों का यहाँ बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण महत्व रहेगा। तो इसीलिए त्रिपान सेंटर जो है आपके समक्ष शब्दों को ही प्रेजेंट करेगा, जो काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण रहेगा। चलिए देखते हैं हमारा क्वेश्चन क्या आया है यहाँ पर। Question on your screen, question here. With the help of suitable example, discuss the application of Newton's law of motion in sport. You know that the most important question for the exam point of view here. The Newton is a law of the motion in a sport. With the help of the suitable example, and discuss the application for Newton's a law of motion in the sport. First of all here, Newton is the first law of the motion. You know that the Newton as the first law of the motion is also called law of inertia. That's important here. According to the first law, a body will be remain at the rest or continue to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. That's the law here. Newton is the first law. A body will be remain at the rest or continue to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by the external force. That's important here. Inertia is the resistance of any object to any change in the motion, including a change in a direction. An object is to be keep moving in a straight line at a constant speed. That's important here. And let's see application here. Newton is the first law application in sport on your screen. That's important. First application here. A skater gliding on ice will be continue gliding with the same speed and it is the same direction unless an external force act upon the skater. That's the first application here. And second here, when a ball is thrown and is in a mid-air, the only force acting upon it is the force of gravity. That's important. When a ball is thrown and is the mid-air, the only force acting upon it is the force of gravity. If the force of gravity did not exist, the ball would be keep traveling at a constant speed until it was affected by an object or another person touch it. If this ball were thrown upward, it would be end up traveling into space. That's important here. Next and second law of Newton here. You know that on your screen, Newton has a second law of the motion and also called here law of momentum. You understand? Newton has a second law of the motion is also called law of momentum. According to this law, the rate of change of momentum is proportional to the resultant force and takes place in the direction of the resultant force. That's important here application. The rate of change of momentum is proportional to the resultant force and take place in the direction of the resultant force. When a net force acts on object, the acceleration of the object is produced is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force here. Is in the same direction as the net force and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. That's important. The same direction as the net force on inversely is proportional to the mass of the object. The more mass of thing has, the more net force has to be used to move it. And let's see, the Newton is the second law of momentum is application, or law of momentum is application. Next hour, on your screen there is application in a sport. Second law of the motion, the application of sport here. As in a shot put, a player who applied to more force and toss the shot put at the direct, there is a correct angle, has a greater displacement of the shot put here. And whereas the player who is exact less force has a lesser displacement of shot put. You know that's the most important application for the sport of second law of the motion here. As a shot put, a player who applies more force and twice there is a shot put at the correct angle. The correct angle has a greater displacement of shot put, whereas a player who is exact less force has a lesser displacement of shot put here. And secondly here, in short, a team will be require more force to kick the ball high and faster. This law of the motion is a fundamental in a social, so you can calculate the force needed to give a pass or kick the ball to the net without a missing. That's important here. And let's see the third law here. Third law of the motion on your screen. The Newton has a third law and also called of law of reaction here. The Newton has a third law and also called law of reaction here. According to this law, there is an equal and opposite reaction for the every action. You know that's important. There is an equal and opposite reaction for every action. And this reaction acts with the same momentum and the opposite velocity for every action. It is stated that whenever one object is acted as a force on a second object, the second object is acted for the equal and opposite force on the first object. That's important here. The Newton has a third law. And let's see application for the third law of the motion, law of reaction here. You know that application in a sport for the third law here, the law of the motion. You know that in a swimming, a drive need to be pushed down on the springboard. When she dives off the dividing board, the springboard pushes back to the force on you for a proper projecting into the air. And during the performance, that's the most important application for the sport here. The Newton has a third law. That's important for the exam point of view. This topic was till this. We will do their next topic in the next part. If you like it, then please like, share, subscribe and share the video as much as possible. Do not think, subscribe and save in your mobile. Thank you.